call and you want to talk about the one thing. So yeah, he goes for breakfast with other finance BAU heads when he's travelling around and he's in London. So yes, his network, intra-group networking. Actually, no, networking full stop is strong.
Okay.
Both within Letter One and also I know he had a very strong relationship with PwC, with a certain partner who's since retired, and he's building up a similarly strong relationship with the replacement PW partner. To be fair, it's easy to do that when you're spending millions of pounds with PwC, because if you give someone money, they want to be your friend. But he is very good at doing that.
Okay.
And he enjoys it. I think that's the key thing. Because he enjoys that part of it, it's a strength of his, I would say.
Okay, great. And what's Neil like at influencing and persuading people? So how does he get his point across?
Verbally.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to, you are left with the only method of communication with Neil is verbal, because he cannot or will not or is unable to construct a written argument or construct a written analysis. And so we're back to trying to understand, get out of Neil a clear argument verbally. Okay. And I generally think he might try, but it's a source of frustration to try and get anything out of Neil verbally.
Okay.
And you can't validate it. The problem is you can't, if you're having a conversation, you're never going to record it. If you have a conversation, I'll write notes, and then, a month later we'll talk about the topic, and I'll go, wait a minute, you said this, and he might say, no. It's very difficult to pin, and it could be his memory failing, it could be something else, I don't know. But the problem is, unless you write things down in a detailed email or a paper, you cannot hold that person to that view, which makes you build things on a sand foundation, which is no good.
Okay. So now I'm going to ask you some more questions about Neil's communication skills. I know we've already covered quite a lot, but there's a few more things. And with this as well, if you can think of any examples, that would be helpful. Sure. So what are his presentation skills like?
Fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen him I'm not the audience of them. If you're asking me what his presentation skills are, the better person would be the audience. The target of his presentation would be the audit and compliance committee that he does on a quarterly basis. I know he does with PwC's help. He prepares some brief high-level points from tax group perspective, and he briefly talks to them. So I don't think I'm the best person to view on that. They seem fine from my perspective.
Okay. And how does he handle meetings? I know we've touched on this already, but if you have any more points that you'd like to make.
He's got better. Okay. And the problem, and I say he's got better for the first 3 months of me doing it, everyone was killing themselves. It's not just me. On internal meetings, he would just go off topic. He would be elusive on direct questions about certain things. And even with consultants on a call. So you're paying, you're on the clock, you're paying for these people. And yet he will spend the first 10, 15 minutes talking about something completely unrelated. He will talk over you when you try and bring it back onto topic. I would say in the last couple of months, he has got better at staying silent when there is silence and when things need to be going when you drive something to bring it back on topic. Over the last couple of months, I've noticed he's got better at just keeping quiet when he needs to be, rather than bringing it back to talk about some nonsense thing that is not relevant to the topic. I think he has improved in that.
And what's he like on a one-to-one level?
The same as he is with everyone. Okay. He has one gear. He has one way of doing things. He doesn't differentiate necessarily whether there's a team of 10 people on a call or one person on the call. It's the same Neil.
Okay. I know you mentioned that he doesn't really write emails and he mostly speaks verbally. Have you ever experienced him sending an email to you? And if so, what's his communication skills like on that?
Single, at most, 2 sentences.
Okay.
Consisting of basically yes, no, or hold off. You know, that it could have been a text. Emails are like texts. How's that?
Okay, that's helpful.
He did write a 3-page paper actually a 5-page paper on something that was 4 months late, and I got asked to review it, and I remember reading it, and I phoned up the group COO to say, I can't review this because I need to start again.
Okay.
As in, it's literally unreadable. This was supposed to go to the board. It wasn't structured. It didn't have a beginning, a middle, and an end. You know, it was a disaster. So I said to Vitaly that I can't review this. I need to just start again. Are you happy for me to do this? And he said, absolutely, you should, which is what I did. So that's the only written document that I have seen from him that is not a text-like email.
And did you feed back to Neil on that?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
And how did he?
It didn't, no response at all. I wrote I didn't go behind his back. I called Vitaly first. I then sent a written email about probably a page and a half of A4, if you wanted to print it out, explaining why I didn't think this report answered the questions. The basis of the report wasn't appropriate. And I said in the email, I justified how I would go about drafting the report. And I then said at the bottom, if it's okay, I think I'm going to start afresh. And Vitaly replied saying yes, and Neil didn't reply at all.
Okay. I
then did the report and passed it to Vitaly and Neil to review.
Okay. Do you ever switch off when Neil is talking?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
But I'm sure if you put some scan in my head, the answer might be different.
Okay. How does Neil handle conflicts?
Avoids it.
Okay.
There was a period of 2 weeks where he did not call me back after we'd had an excitable conversation. I then emailed him, teamed him, saying, can you give me a call? Tried to call him for about 10 days. He never called me back. Now, whether that was very busy or whether that was because he was a bit miffed that I was a bit shirty with him on something, I don't know. But that's how I would describe his ability to manage conflict.
Okay. And has anything changed in the past year, 18 months?
With Neil's behaviour?
Yes.
Yeah, I think over the last 2 months.
Okay.
So, I mean, I've only really been working closely. I mean, closely, probably I speak to him at least twice a week. And at times it was every day over the last, depending on projects, since end of May. And at the start of my secondment, end of May, he was full throttle Neil. And in the last couple of months, I've raised it with Jonathan, that I think he has got better in trying to dominate conversations that he should not be dominating. That's the singular thing he has, I think I have noticed. He dials into Teams calls on time rather than 10 minutes late. Those are dancing around. Look, there are improvements. About leave it at that. Yes, I have. So on those 2 points, I have seen change over the last couple of months.
And have you noticed a change in Neil's behaviour since he had his medical issue?
Short-term memory. But it's more perhaps because he's very open about it. And his long-term is, and he said this to me, he goes, look, since my stroke, my long-term memory is still as good as it ever was. My short-term memory is not. And I think and when he is tired, it's noticeably worse. Okay. As in, he'll be talking to you and it perhaps doesn't help with COVID, the fact that we only, 99% of our verbal communication is through Teams rather than sitting across the table. But he will talk to you he'll have a stream of thought and he'll be talking, then he'll look up because an email comes through, and then he'll look back and go, no, it's gone. I don't know what I was talking about. It's completely gone.
Okay.
But it's not, his long, yeah, that's.
Have you noticed any other changes?
No.
What are the best bits about now?